Hello there, gamers, and I'm here to talk to you about my idea on the conspiracy of Chell. Portal conspiracy. Who or what the hell is Chell? That rhymed, actually. Okay, so there's a couple of popular conspiracies out there about the origin of Chell and what Chell is. And, on my opinion, I'm going to give you at the end. So the first idea of who or what the silent protagonist is that she's an android, like Peabody and Atlas. I kind of doubt this because Wheatley calls her a human when he in Portal 2 when Wheatley wakes her up, he says she was the only human alive. Human equaling not android. I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. It says how she bruises easily, and Wheatley calls her adopted, implying that she is not a robot. Okay, so another theory is that she is a clone. So this is a little more well backed up because, Aperture experimented a lot with cloning people, but it doesn't really make sense to clone the testing subject they didn't want. Doug Ratman put her at the top of the testing list because it said she was more stubborn than the other people. So it wouldn't make sense for Aperture to invest in cloning a test subject they didn't want at all in the first place. But it could make sense, how she dies all the time and she somehow comes back to life. But it seems very unlikely due to Aperture not even wanting to test her in the first place. Okay, so my actual opinion is that Chell is the daughter of Cave Johnson and Caroline, but she is also adopted. Okay, so my theory is backed by Cave Johnson and Caroline had a deep relationship, and when Cave Johnson knew he was dying, he wanted his essence, his personality to be transferred into a robot to continue running Aperture. But when he knew he was going to die before the project was over, he wanted Caroline to be turned into the robot. So it shows they had a deep sort of connection, so it makes a lot of sense for them to have a love child. Which is a little creepy, I know. But since there was two ambitious people, it's very unlikely that they had the time to take care of her. So when Wheatley and GLaDOS says she's adopted all the time, it kind of implies that someone in Aperture adopted her, maybe forced by Cave Johnson and Caroline too. And the number one person would be, you would either be a random scientist or Doug Ratman, because Doug Ratman in the comic, excuse me, some delicious juice. He puts her at the top of the list, and she seems to know Chell's personality, and he really believes that she will be the prodigy who will destroy GLaDOS. And Caroline, as most people know, got turned into GLaDOS, and GLaDOS equaling Chell's mother. So when GLaDOS is reminded that she's actually Chell's mother, she spares Chell's life. GLaDOS had so many opportunities to kill Chell, but doesn't. She actually lets her go at the end. The portals are all pointed at Chell, but they don't fire. Instead, they start singing to her as she leaves. And in the song, if it's translated into Italian, it says, "Goodbye, my dear child, my dear daughter," which is La Bambina, Cara Bambina. And she says, "Walk far away from science," implying that she doesn't want Chell to stay because of how, GLaDOS's mind / Caroline was infected with, evil of science, and, her obsession kind of drove her mad. So she lets her go off into that random wheat field with the companion cube out of the incinerator. What?
Nothing.
Shut up, you. I'm making a video and you're interrupting it very rudely.
The only thing that's driving me mad is this video, but go on.
Whatever. Okay, so another thing to back this up is Chell was there during the Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, as seen at the Potato Science Fair. It said that she had to make a science experiment using a potato, and it has Chell's name at the bottom. If you're playing and you didn't see it, just look for the giant freaking potato in the dark.
Brilliant.
And it says Chell's name in the bottom right corner, and it says that she used one of her daddy's chemicals, implying that her dad worked there. But she doesn't address Cave Johnson as her father, because she doesn't know that Cave Johnson is her father due to being adopted. So to wrap it up, Chell is not an android. Chell is not a clone. Chell is the daughter of Cave Johnson and Caroline, and she is the adopted daughter of Doug Ratman. Okay, for more conspiracy videos, keep subscribed to Super Lazy Gamers. We'll be posting gameplay in between, talk about some Half-Life, maybe some lore, how like this full story of Portal, how Chell tried to defeated GLaDOS and how GLaDOS like took over the facility and the story of Atlas and Peabody. But that's for another episode. So bye.